Hello and welcome to Community Chats. I'm Aley Hammer, and today we're joined with Paul Devlin, the head of sports over at AWS. Paul, welcome to the show. At AWS, we have specific account managers for different industry verticals. So I wanted to ask you today, what benefit does the sports industry actually give to our customers?
Thanks for having me, Ali. So the business of sport really is a unique world, and a specific industry vertical means that we're able to give our customers very specific industry knowledge. And so we know our customers want to feel and appreciate that specific verticals will bring about synergies across different sports, for example, specifically around the services that we're able to help them with. We've got significant internal knowledge sharing as well around best practice amongst the sports, innovation, and trying to look around corners for our customers. Innovation in Australia, for example, is helping sports customers in other geos across the world, and that's certainly happening reciprocally as well.
Thanks so much, Paul. And what are some of the trends at the moment that you're seeing amongst our sports customers?
Yeah, well, we know that COVID hit sports leagues and teams particularly hard, and sports broadcasters as well. They had no live content for a period of time there, which was scary for us all. And we're really seeing that sports are recovering from COVID constraints on their revenues and their costs going out of control. And they've got a renewed appreciation for the benefits of cloud resources, especially around video content. And so having no live content, I think, really showed sports leagues and teams the value of a cloud-based archive, which allows both content creation remotely, if required, but also servicing videos to their fans directly through a website or through an OTT platform. Further to this, we know that from talking to our sports customers that fans want a personalized experience now. And so there's lots of offerings through the internet. With that, we're seeing sports leagues realize that the more they know about their fans, their customers, the more they can personalize their offerings to them and begin to delight them. And so having something taken away sometimes make you realize how much you loved it. I think that's the case with sport. We're seeing an even higher desire from sports fans for content and certainly engaging with their teams because they missed them during COVID.
Well, I can 100% attest that because I live with my husband and can absolutely assure you that he's so excited that the games are back on and there's so much content out there. And Paul, how are our sports customers' needs actually different to our customers in other industries?
Yeah, it's a good question. So sport's primarily about winning matches, right? That's why we love it. That's why we follow. That's why husbands watching. Revenue is clearly important, but sports will tell you that a winning team is often the primary goal of a business in sport. And so even the case with sports technology businesses that we work with, helping teams and leagues define winning or understand winning can often be the focus. And so why is that? Well, that's because fans want to understand why teams win or why they don't win in the case with obviously the other team. In other industries, the focus can be revenue growth or profit growth as an absolute priority. And obviously these are important in sports businesses as well, but losing teams rarely consistently grow those business metrics. And so a winning team is a focus. So as a consequence of that, the story of how and why teams win is often the fulcrum of fan engagement opportunities as well. An example, who's the best player in each position and why do they enable their team to have a greater chance of winning matches, races, or whatever it is they're competing in? And we see that in Germany with the Bundesliga match facts. We also see it in the Formula One with the race insights. And these data points, and indeed the machine learning predictions that come out the back of them, they allow us as fans to investigate these things. Who's got the fastest car? Which driver's performing most effectively? And we can use the driver season performance insights to have a look at which drivers perform in the best way. My point is that inevitably fans tend to engage with the data that creates debate about why teams or athletes win. And so the industry always requires a laser-like focus on data and analytics to enable this form of storytelling. We also see data and analytics for creating that single fan view, single customer view I talked about earlier. And that enables sports leagues and teams to personalize the fan experience to what is most likely to engage them.
It's such an interesting point. And the whole time I was smiling because I'm thinking my husband's a massive golf nerd. He's obsessed with golf and we watch hours of golf, joy for me. But it's all about the data points and seeing the precise data around the swing. And I find it very boring, but it's so interesting to hear you say that, it's all about winning, because I think that's exactly why my husband's watching everything and trying to learn from all the data. Paul, can you share some examples of some more innovative things being done globally around the world with some of our other sports customers, perhaps in the US or anywhere globally would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's exactly to your point about data and analytics. I previously mentioned it. There's a lot of data analytics work happening in sports right now to enable storytelling and to enable fan engagement. But data is also being used to identify talent. So the ability to track youth footballers' data through optical tracking, a single point camera tracking solution, enables talent ID programs to scale across a whole country to drive a data-driven approach to talent ID, which I think is hugely exciting. There's then some more interesting work being done to enhance in-venue experiences too. So when we actually go and attend games, that can be live data and analytics on a second screen experience whilst in the venue, or it can be enhanced in the concession sales, the ability for me to get a hot dog and a drink at the game without having to queue or in the most time efficient manner. Those sorts of advancements are really moving forward in venue. It's pretty hard to move without hearing about NFTs at the moment, Ali. Yeah. And so they're becoming a really popular talking point. I think we're only really scratching the surface on NFTs and fan tokenization using blockchain technologies and what that might look like in the future as sports start to move quickly into the metaverse. And I do think sports are likely to move into metaverse, whatever that looks like, at a really fast pace in comparison to some other industries. So that's exciting. We're seeing lots of great discussions around fan experiences enabled through those technology advancements. Another really interesting one I like is around remote fan experiences. They're certainly top of mind at the moment as sport continues its globalization. Sports are looking at how can they enable a fan on the other side of the country, or indeed the other side of the world, to enjoy a game in a live in-venue like environment, whether that's wearing goggles or whatever the case may be. There's a lot of developments there. So I hold out hope that I'll be able to watch Everton Football Club from Australia in the near future. But on another area of development that's really cool is moving beyond player tracking, which we've seen for quite a while now. We see in next gen stats and in Bundesliga match facts as well, is into ball tracking. And so we're seeing ball tracking. It's been a little bit slower to develop, but it's now rolling out across many sports, bringing new insights and data points that have never been seen before. Another really cool one we're seeing, certainly in Australia and the UK, is tracking of horses in horse racing. It's becoming much more common. And then the data and analytics that come from that to allow load monitoring, just like we do with athletes. How can we manage the load of horses to prevent injury? Which is a really important one. But probably the most exciting development I'm seeing, and this is rapidly in the last 6 to 12 months, is the focus on female sport and analyzing data from women's sports for women's sports, rather than what was previously done was comparing women's sports to men's sports data to decide who was good and who wasn't. This is progressing exceptionally fast because there's an appetite from the women's sport specifically to collaborate and be innovative, which is awesome. I think we're going to see significant progress in that space. What makes an elite female so elite? To enable inspiration for our young, talented, up-and-coming girls in sport. We're going to see the investment in that space as well, much the same as we have in the men's for such a long period of time. So that's probably the most exciting space to watch in the future for me.
So interesting. I mean, personally, I think our sports vertical here at AWS is one of the most fascinating, you know, from a data and analytic point of view. It's so incredible, as well as you say, player and ball tracking. It's so interesting. There's so many different facets. And as you say, I really love, obviously I'm a female, that there is this focus on, you know, women's sports too. I really look forward to seeing how that progresses. And I'm so glad that you're saying that, you know, companies and are investing in this. It's so important. So thank you so much, Paul. I honestly, before this chat, didn't know all the ways you were servicing our sports customers. So I found this really interesting. But if anyone has any questions, please pop them in the comment section below and we'll get back to you. Thanks so much, Paul.
Thanks, Aley.